Hello everyone, today we will discuss count steps in matrix problem of CodeChef September 2015 long challenge. We highly recommend you to read the problem before continuing with the video. The link of the problem is given in description. Let's understand the problem by taking an example. We are given a matrix and we are supposed to count the number of steps required to move from 1 to n square, that is 9 here, for n equal to 3 by choosing the path from 1 to 2, then 3, then 4, 5, likewise. So if you use a naive approach, then in naive approach you have to find the number at every step. That is, first we find the number 1, so we know that okay, after finding we know that it is situated at 1 comma 1. Then we find number 2 and we then calculate the number of steps required to move from 1 to 2. But this approach won't give you entire 100 points, as in this approach we are searching for every element and this search is O of n square. To avoid this search, we can use a single D array of size n square. Here n is 3, so we are using an array of size 9. While we will be scanning for this 2D matrix, we will be using a single for loop instead of two for loops of size 3 each. We will be using a single loop of size n square, that is 9, and we will be storing each element at the respective indexes. Now suppose we are scanning the first element. Here index is 1. The indexes will be 1, then 2 here, then 3 here, then 4 here, then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Note that we are not using two for loops, as we are not storing the values in 2D matrix. So here the index is 1 and the value at index is 2. What we are doing is we are reversing the value and index, interchanging them. So in this array the index will be the value here. The value here is 2, so the index here is 2, and the value and the index in this array is 1, right? So we are inserting this one at value at this index 2. So the value at this array is index at this array, and the index at this array is value at this array. So here 2, its index is 1, so we are inserting 1 at position 2. Here 4, its index is 2, so we are inserting 2 in position 4. Similarly, we will be storing all the elements. Let's take this example. 5, its index will be 9, so we are storing 9 in index 5. After forming this array, we have to calculate the number of steps to move from 1 to n square. So we first compute the row and column of first element. Here for finding the row, what we can do is divide the value with n. Here n is 3, so we will be dividing 4 by 3, we get 1, and for column we will be taking mod. So 4 mod 3, it's 1. So we are storing, we know that 1 is stored at 1 comma 1 in the actual 2D matrix, that is 1 comma 1, that is this. Note that we are using row starting from 0 and column starting from 1 for some convenience. Let's take the second number. Its value is 1, so its row will be 1 div 3, that is 0, and its column will be 1 mod 3, that is 1. Similarly for 3, it will be div 3 will give 2, so its row is 2 and column is 1. can observe that 3 is stored at second row and first column. So this way we can compute the row and column of each number. And let's say 5, its value is 9, so its column number will be 9 mod 3, it's 0, and its row number will be 9 div 3, it's 3. So for such cases where column is 0, what we will be doing is, if column is 0, we will rewrite the column equal to n here is 3, so column is 3 instead of 0, and we will decrement 1 from the row. That is, here the row was 3, so we are decrementing it by 1, so we will get 2. So instead of row and column as 3, 0, we will be having 2, 3. Similarly for 8 and 7 also. Now by using this rows and columns, we can calculate the number of steps. Let's say first we calculated the row and column for this number 1, then we computed for 2, then at this moment we will take the absolute difference of the row and column. Here the absolute difference between the rows is 1 and between columns is 0. So the number of steps required to move from 1 to 2 is sum of this, that is difference between rows and difference between columns, that is here 1. Now that is up till 2 we require one step, that is 1 to 2 we require one step to move. Now consider 3. For that we will be using this, its previous row column and its current row column. So, and we will take the absolute difference. Here the absolute difference between the rows is 2 and its column is 0. So the number of steps required to move from 2 to 3 is 2, and we will add this to the sum number of steps. So the previous number of steps were 1, now the number of steps will be 3 to move from 1 to 3 via 2. Similarly we will be calculating the other sums, and in the end we will get answer. So let's take this example. Here the absolute difference is 1, so the count up till 2 is 1, count up till 3 will be 0 minus 2, 2, 0, so it will be 3. Now up till 4 it will be plus 3, that is 6. Up till 5 it will be plus 3, so 9. Up till 6 it will be plus 2, that is 11. Up till 7 it will be plus 2, it will be 13. Up till 8 it will be plus 1, so 14. And up till 9 it will be plus 2, that is 16. This is my code. After taking n as input, while scanning the matrix, we are scanning the number, and instead of using that number as a value, we are using that number as the index and using the index as the value. So we are forming this matrix, so we are forming this array B, and then this is for computing the number, the row number, this is for computing the column number, and this if statement is for when the column is the last column. Inside the for loop we are computing the same row and column of current number and taking the absolute difference of the previous row columns, and then making the current row columns as the previous row columns, and in the end printing the sum.